Hello everyone, welcome back. Okay, today we are going to make a post-it or a sticky notebook. My niece is in junior high now. She uses a lot of sticky notes and she likes to use different size. So I thought I would organize it for her. So I came up with this because I kind of asked her what she all wanted. She wanted some bigger post-it notes and some smaller ones and then all her different flags. So this is what I came up. You guys can kind of customize it to the way you want. I will show you how this one was done, give you the measurements and stuff like that. And then you can just kind of go off of there. But I'll kind of give you at the end, I'll give you the measurements of the post-it notes. And so if you want to use the same ones, you can. All right, so let's get started. Oh, and the paper for her, she wanted, of course, you know, she likes the mushrooms. So we went with this Fairy Wishes by Craft Consortium. And I got this off of a cherry on top. So I can link that for you though, but I'll just quick run through it. It's got some really cute little pages. So you get like 4 pages of each. Let's go this way. And you got some cutouts that you have to cut out yourself. So just kind of quick go through. You get the stars. And this one's purple on one side, and then multicolor on the other side. I really like their paper. Some mushrooms, and then this one's kind of embossed. And then I love this big sheet. You can almost frame that. So pretty. Some dots, and then the dots are on the back of these long decorative strips, and then we have the all different squares. And I got it in, like, you can get like enamel dots and other stuff, but for the cover I had gotten this to go with it. And it's 3D decoupage. There's 10 different sheets, 3 different designs, and then they're very easy to layer, and that's what we did on the cover. She wanted on the cover, so I layered that one. So that's what she chose. And I didn't put anything else. You know, this is probably told her, I said, this is probably going to get wrecked because in and out of your backpack, but she really wanted that. So we went with it. Otherwise, I could have just put the flat one down, but she really wanted the 3D effect, which is really pretty. So that's what we're using. I used for hers. And for mine, for this one we're going to use this one, the Country Cottage. So I'm going to use the Country Cottage. And this one is the same thing, but this one I got off of HSN. It was like, they have very few left. This is an old style, so there was just a few left, so they're probably all gone. You might be able to find them other places, but I got the 12 by 12. They're so pretty. They have like the shimmer sheets, and they have some embossed. Like these ones are embossed. You can probably see the glare. It's embossed, and the bees. Then we have this one here's a shimmer page, both sides. And the tulips, that's what I used, this one here. I really like that. I use a tulip, and I think I'm using the bees, one of the bees. And then they have just the words, and the birdhouses are very pretty too. I almost went with the birdhouses, and I'm like, I went with this bee. This bee is a little embossed. That's the one I went with too. And then they have the strips, the decorative strips, and we're going to use this one here, the bunny. So that's what we're going to use. So I will give you sizes as we go along. So the first thing is chipboard. You need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 6.5 inches by 4 1/8 inch. And then 2 pieces that are 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 inches. Okay, and then you need one that's 6.5 by 1 inch. And then you'll need 2 of them that are 6.5 by 1/2. And in some of my other albums where I did albums, I've showed you the whole process. This one I already cut everything out to save some time. Now the first thing we want to do is we have 2 sheets here of 12 by 8.5. So we need to glue these together to make our page long enough. So I'm just going to use my grid here. And we're just going to glue it with a anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 1 inch overlay. I'm going to do 1 inch. So let me just hold that down while I glue. And yes, I'm still loving my precision glue gun. If you guys haven't seen it, I did a review on it a while ago. I can link that if you want, but it still works great. I never put the covers on the glue bottles. I just leave it sitting here like this, and it never clogs. So I love that. So we're still using that. It works quite well. Okay, so this one I got shimmer on one side and plain on the other side. I'm going to use the shimmer for the outside, of course. All right, so now what we want to do, if you've seen my other albums, you see I have this fancy little tool here, a stick. I can't remember what it came off of, but it's a perfect size for my albums. I believe it's a 1/8 inch, I always say, or just under a 1/4 inch. You can kind of see there. For me, it's the perfect size. My book pages bend perfectly, so I use this. So what we're going to do is bring you down a little so you can see the whole paper, and then I kind of line them up where I need them. So I'm going to start about 1 inch, and don't have to worry about being perfect. So I'm going to set the first one there, and then I need one of these. Like I said, this is just a rough, just to see how it sets up and if I have it where I want, and then we'll glue everything down. Oops, almost forgot my stick here. Okay. See, and you can leave as big a gap as you want there. I like a little bit bigger gap so that it bends nicely. And okay, that's about perfect. I can go in just a little bit on this side. All right, so let's go ahead and start gluing this down. Okay, and we're going to go in. Like I said, don't stress how perfect it is, because it will turn out just fine. Now, normally, I've said this in the past too, when I do a project like this, normally I would put this down and I would put something heavy over top of it till it thoroughly dries. You know, we can't do that when we're taping unless I have a bunch of different samples, and you know, I'm not going to make a ton of... I could have a problem where it doesn't lay perfectly, or even that one I moved a little. Just put your stick back in if you slid it too much, which I did. But I was like, thought, well, you know, she could just put all these Post-it notes in the bottom of her backpack, but then when she needs them and has to find them, she has to dig through. So I'm like, she has everything right together. Make it easier for her. I had made hers, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should make one for you guys to see. Maybe you guys want to do the same thing. Sometimes I'll make things and not show you guys because I'm not sure if you're really interested in certain projects. But I'm like, well, just show it. It's quick and easy. It's not that hard to make. And I think it takes longer to cut everything out, really. This is just like making an album. Hardest part is, you know, designing, really, because I had her first pick out things that she wanted to use, what kind of sticky notes she wanted, and flags and stuff. And then I kind of built around that, and that went like a couple different mistakes, and I finally got one that works good. Okay, so that's the last. So now if you were doing this at home, what I do is then I have my reams of paper, because I keep a few of these on hand, because this is what I use for, it's very inexpensive. You get this at Walmart. This is what I use for doing a lot of my prototypes when I'm designing, because it's so cheap. And so I usually just take a couple of these and I'll lay these on there to help flatten it on. And sometimes I leave it overnight, but sometimes I'll leave it for a couple hours depending. I just like to make sure it's good and dry, because if you're bending things around and your paper is not dry, you could take the chance of, you know, you're getting your paper wrinkled and stuff like that, even cracking. Okay, so now we're just gonna clip our little corners. Now when I clip, I want to keep, like, say, like my scissors away, like that far, about an 1/8 inch or so away from the corner, you know. You just don't want to cut too close to your corner, because then your corner might show. And sometimes I don't get close enough, and then I'll go in and trim. Now this is only about a 65-pound, and I did use, I think it's around 85 pound on hers. So this is just for the cover. We're going to be doing layers on it anyways. So what I do first is I kind of fold up all my edges just to make sure my corners are not showing. Because if they do, I'll show you a trick. Just take your hands and it's kind of hard, a big project like this, getting it on. But we'll get it in here. Now I figured I'm not like doing a lot fanciness on this, just because I know it's going to get pretty well beat up. So now they're covered, and they're covered. And don't worry about this side's longer. If you don't like that, you can cut it off, but we're going to cover the whole inside anyways, so we're not going to worry about that. Okay. Now, after I make sure we're good and flattened. And you know me, I use my hands more than I use my stylus. That's just me. You can use your stylus. Okay, now we're going to glue down. I should have used my glue with the big, I should have used the bigger nozzle for this project today, but that's okay. I should have switched them out. I'm still thinking about buying another one so I can keep one with the bigger nib and one with the smaller nib, so I don't have to switch them out all the time. So I'm still thinking about that. So you just rub it down. The glue needs the, and this one I'm using, for this one I'm using the glue that came with it, the Nouveau glue. I've been fine with it. It seems to be working pretty well. I haven't checked prices on it yet or anything, because I still have quite a bit of my other glue. So when I'm in need of more glue, I will check prices to see, you know, if this is cheaper. But so far it seems to be working. It dries clear. It seems to be working just as good as my art glitter glue and my Barely Arts. So if you can't see this very well, but it's kind of hard to get that in the picture. As I just rub it down, it's like the glue just needs a little pressure to get it adhered, so it doesn't take too long. You can feel free to use clips. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. part that's I like to wait to dry is this part for sure, because once I bend this, this is the part that scares me, because if it's not dry enough, it's going to buckle on you. Okay. Okay, got that side. School already started, but she had mentioned this a little, not that long ago, and I said, well, I can make you something if you want to hold all of them in. So then I'll take my good ones upstairs, and I'll just kind of round the corners a little bit to get that, if there's like a pointy end, just kind of round that little point there. Or you can take and just go like, on, just to get that point down. Okay, so there's that. Now what I like to do, this one's the thinner paper, so I really don't need to do this step, but just so I know where my folds are. I'm not going to start folding it yet, though, because I know it's not thoroughly dry yet. But I'm just going to put some marks. Now we're going to put this aside. So I'm just going to use the same paper to cover the inside on this one. So these sheets are 6 by 12, so I just cut it in half, and I'm not even going to worry about, like you could cut some off on this other one. See how much you don't need, like you don't need that much, but I'm going to leave it just for more support. So now what I like to do on a big project like this is grab a couple clips, because first of all, if you glue this whole thing, you take a chance of it drying on you. Second of all, trying to quickly position it could be fun too. So what I like to do is get it in position where I think it's going to be. I just put one down first, and then I'll just clip my little ends here. Just clip my ends. And then what I like to do, I'm trying to get this the best view for you guys, is I'll flip it up. Oh wait, first I gotta glue just the end down first. So just glue just on the very end. And now position it down, and then make sure it's even, like the best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Most of this inside is going to get covered anyways. I'm not even going to decorate the inside with decorative paper or anything, because most of it's going to get covered. And now I just clip it so that it doesn't come unglued while we're gluing the rest. Then all I do is I kind of just take a little bit of time, and I'll kind of do like, just a little bit at a time. Just so it doesn't dry on you. For me, I find that this works the best for me. Works even better if I get stuff out of my way, right? Okay, I'll get the last one a bit down. Okay, we got that half. We'll move to this side. I'm gonna flip it over. And we're going to do the same thing. We want to make sure we get the shiny side up. I'm just going to put and then I'm going to position it here, and then I want to make sure it lines up with the other one. So I got a little bit go this way. Good. Hold it. I rub that down. Like I said, you're not going to see much of the inside, so if you're a little off, don't worry about it. I mean, this is just a little project to make her life a little easier at school, so she doesn't have to dig for what she needs. Hope everyone's doing well, getting excited for the holidays. I know you've been seeing some of my holiday videos already. If you have any requests for anything, just let me know. I've done requests in the past. Okay, we can take the clips off now. Now I can see my marks underneath there. So we're going to go over it. Don't push too hard because this is a thinner paper and it is still wet. See where I am. Just going to score. I'm using shimmer paper, so I've got a glare. So I'm like, okay, where is it? Good choice of paper, right? Let's use some glimmer paper. And don't worry if you push too hard and you ripped it. I've done that before too. It's just in the seams. It really won't hurt anything. You can always cover it up with some lace or something like that. Okay, we are going to let this be for a minute. Make sure it's pretty well dry. There's your front. I can see a little, that's where my thing is. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to use, for the outside, we are going to use decorative paper, but we're going to wait a minute. So I'm going to show you what we're using. Let's see, those are for those pages. My cover and my back is going to have these, okay? I went with a tulip. You could do the white side or you could do the yellow. I chose the yellow. These will be 6 1/4 by 4 inches. And then my inside, which is this part here, is all I'm decorating. So this, when you open the book, you can see I didn't decorate any of the inside. I took those out because I only have one set each. So that's why those are missing right now, because I only had one set of those. So I want to show them in the other one. So yeah, I didn't decorate anywhere here. You can if you want, but you know, it's all going to get covered up. So, and as you use these up, you can just glue another. This is glued down, but that's okay. Just glue another pack right over the top. It doesn't matter if you know, you get a few different things on there, because you'll after like this one's shiny. So when you lay the next one down, you might be able to pull that off fairly easy. So that's how I usually do it. I just glue down the back page, and then I just keep adding as I use it. So we're going to just cover that. And those pages are 6 1/4 by 3 7/8. You need 2 of those. Okay, let's give this a go. You know, I don't like to do it when it's still wet, so just ignore anything that looks funky. We're going to ignore it. I like to let everything dry. It gives it a much nicer look. As you can see how that kind of wants to come up. Okay. So now you're going to fold those in. Just kind of square it. And you're going to fold that in. And see, now my edge there wants to come up, which was my fault because I wasn't paying attention where my seam was. And I should not have put my seam right there. I didn't on the other one. But we'll fix it. We'll just glue it down some more. And like I said, we can cover it later too. Okay. All right. So now on this one, the reason you want these 2 inside ones 1/8 inch shorter is because otherwise they're going to touch against there, and your book's not going to fold. I didn't do that with hers. I wanted to show you guys the difference. And so now you can see like how her book wants to push out instead of, because these are pushing too tight in there. This is why you do that, because now look at how it folds nicely, nice and square, and it's still not touching. So that's why, like I said, there's a lot into planning an album. Okay, so I'm going to put magnets. So let's do those right away so I don't forget, because you know me, I could forget. We are just going to put some magnets. I'm using 2 big ones just because this is I mean, you can see it does hold really well. I'm just going to put tape down and hold it where I want it. Just, you just want to keep it far enough away from your edges so that your paper, you can adhere your paper down properly. No, don't worry if it's not perfect. It's going to work either way. Now for that side, I take 2. First of all, I got to see which way my magnet goes. Okay. So now we're just going to pop that on there and put that down there. And let's see which way you adhere. Put that there. Okay, and then we are going to stand up our book. Make sure it's square before you push it, or as close to it possible. And I can see. Get in there and get that tape to adhere to the other side. Come on, tape. I can't get my hands in there properly. Okay, so let's try to start up here. Let's see where I am. Okay, another trick. I'm having problems with the shiny paper, I think, but another trick is put a little dot there. Like, always when I'm on camera, it doesn't go smoothly. Why is that? Okay. Whoops, don't bend out, Jean. You could measure. You can see I got my glue down. So let's take this one off. And we're going to tape it down. Right where my glue dot went. I did the other one, no problem. But, when you're on camera, things have to go wrong. And just for Athena, my dear friend Athena, I think. She'll know. I keep the mistakes in. She knows. She loves the mistakes. She does. How are you doing, Athea? My dear friend. I won't say where she lives, but she comments on almost every post. She's a sweetheart. Okay, so now we're going to lay these down. These are going to go over like this, and we're going to cover up those magnets. Okay, so what we'll do is take that tape off. That'll help secure. There we go. And you can do the blue side or white, but I kind of like the white side. And I just like to put a little bit of glue around my magnet just to help secure it too. Optional. And you don't want to do magnets. You don't have to do magnets either. I'm going to get this centered because I have tape down there. I got to remember that I have tape. You really don't have to put anything if you don't want to. You could always just use some ribbon even. And just rub that down really good around your magnet. Get my little gun in there. Got a little spot there that I want to do a little better around that magnet. Okay. Now let's do this side. So that's another thing when your paper. So this is a shimmer paper. It's got a a smoother finish to it. So sometimes your you know, things can shift on you, things won't stick as good. So just keep that all in mind. Hope I'm not running out of glue here, because I didn't bring my extra bottles down, because I don't think that way. Like, Jean, you don't need the extra bottles. So I keep extra bottles, but no, let's not bring it down. No, that would be too easy. Okay, that looks pretty good. Isn't that pretty? Pretty. That's so pretty. And it hooks nicely. But you could just do a ribbon around there, or, you know, whatever you want. You don't have to do the magnets if you don't want to. Okay, so now on the back side, I'm going to take our tulip paper and put that down. And the thing with this glue gun, you don't have to keep pumping. You can just hold it like that. The pressure of putting it, so you don't have to pump it even. Sometimes I do that without thinking. I will pump it, but I don't know why, because you really don't have to. Okay, now the front. Now, because I got this paper pad on clearance, there was no other stuff to go with it. So there was no of the embellishments and stuff that go with it. So otherwise I would have did a 3D one on the front of this one like I did on this. But there was nothing. And we didn't put anything on, you know, because it went to showing anyway. So we left the cover like that. And then we didn't do her sides, just because I think it'd be too much wear and tear for hers. But on this one, we're going to do the sides. So for this one, this piece is going to be 6 1/4 by 1 inch. So we're going to put that on there. And if you're one that likes inking your edges and stuff like that, go for it. I don't on certain projects like this project. I just realized, did I make sure my tulips were upright? Yep, I did. All of a sudden, I'm like, you know, that's what happens when you're on camera and you're talking. That one needs to go over a little bit. And you're talking, and then you realize maybe I didn't. So let's do the edges too on here. And then these pieces are 6 1/4 by 1/2 inch. Okay. Just to show you a difference. If you want to, you can do this. Otherwise, you can leave it like hers, which we'll go over again in just a minute, because we are just about done. Okay, I just try to make sure they're somewhat even. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, now we're going to take this cute little bun, and we're going to go cut along. You can see the blue is extra paper. So we're going to cut all that blue off. And hopefully it's not going to be too big. It'll still, I think it'll be okay on there. Oop, a little crooked there, but that's okay. And around that corner. All right, let's see how that fits. Perfect. Okay, and we are going to foam that up. Yes, we are. Look at the cute little house on the back. There's so many things you could have used out of this. So this, because it's on the cover, these are just the ones you can get from Dollar Tree. So I like the Dollar Tree ones. Sometimes I make my own. But let's be honest, I really haven't had time to make my own since I've been starting a YouTube channel. I have shown that on one of my videos way back when. Now I put a little extra on because this is going to be on the cover. So hers I didn't, because it's got all this dimension, I didn't foam her piece up because it's got all that dimension. But this one, because we don't have a piece like that, we want to give it some dimension. You can make this as a gift. This would make a cute gift for a teacher. For really anybody, an office worker, a college student, like my niece, a high school student. Or just for me on my desk. I do use a lot of like scrap papers, post-it notes, that kind of stuff. You should see my desk sometimes. I'm writing all my notes down. I come up with these ideals. Okay. It popped up. All right, so let's go and put the inside. So I'm gonna follow hers, just because. Okay. So let's bring everything over here, and we're gonna put this one right there. And like I said, I just glue it right down. And then once you get the last page off, just glue it right over the top of that one again. All right, let's see. Stay away from your folds there. That looks pretty good. Then we got this bigger one that's going to go. Make sure. So I almost put hers on wrong. There we go. Let's make sure I have enough room. Yep, okay. Now for hers, I made sure that the things were at the bottom, because you don't want to try pulling them this way. So let's take these, and what I do first is I'll just space them out. I just kind of line them up with the notebook above. And there it is. I'm like, I lost one. Okay, close enough. Somewhat straight. And I will link all these post-it sticky note things for you. I'm going to give you the size in just a minute. We'll go over the size of all of them. But I'll link, like I bought, for the regular post-it notes, I buy a big box. I forget how many are in it, maybe 100 off of Amazon, because I do use them enough, and I do use them in projects and stuff like that. So, and where's my little ones? Here they are. On this side, you can fit 2 small ones. Like I said, we kind of like designed how what sizes she wanted. And so this is what we came up with off of that fact. Okay, and these I'm not going to stick down because I only have the one set, but you just put them there, put them the right way, make sure but like I only have this one set. So until I can get some more, that's where you'd put those. And these I would suggest using a double-sided tape, because this is a plastic. So I would take like a double-sided tape and put down. So I have that. So now what we did here is, these are the 3x3, the regular 3x3s. This one here we got is the 4x6. So this is a 4x6. And this one is 4x4. So these are the 4x4s. Then these are just your regular paper flags, which are, I think, 1.5. Nope, 2 inches by a 1/2 inch. So that's what we did on that. And then we just picked up some flags that she said she likes to use. Like, she likes to use these bigger ones. And then I just pull them out. Once it's glued down in hers, she'll be able to just pull and not worry about it coming off, but I'm not going to glue them in there. And so that's how we did that. So let's close it up. And you can do anything, you know, you can put, if you like all the big ones in there, just put a couple big ones. And maybe you don't do flags, so maybe you'll put 2 big ones and then the small ones on each side. That'll work out fine too. She likes the bigger ones. She said sometimes when she's taking notes, she needs something bigger when she's got to quick write something down. So that's why we went with those. And then it just closes shut nicely. And now she'll be glad that she can have this one. I took a while. She's like, can I have it yet? I go, no, not yet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll put them up this way so you can kind of see too how they go together, and everything's in there. Compact, she can carry that around. Like I said, I'm sure this is going to get wrecked, but that's what she wanted, and I don't care. Her auntie can make another one. I made her school planners before for her. She didn't ask for one of those yet this year. Okay, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I'll open one, and that's for the camera. We'll put this back in still when people are looking at it. And I'll open one and leave one down, and there you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and give it a try. Let me know in the comments, and if there's anything you guys want to see me make, just leave me a comment below. And as always, please like and subscribe, and I will see everyone later. Bye, guys.